Okay, this is the usual curtain speech. Everyone please silence your cell phones, your texters, your this and that. There will be no texting at all during the ceremony. Thank you very much.
Six beats and a pause. 6 beats, pause. 6 beats for 6 million. 6 beats and a pause. A pause to remember. 6 beats and a pause. 6 beats for 6 million. A pause to reflect. 6 beats for 6 million. A pause to resolve. A pause to resolve never again. 6 beats and a pause. 6 beats and a pause.
regiments post 609 and 395, with Ben Roth as the state commander in charge. They'll bring down the colors and then Ben will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Ben Roth.
Colors, stand up. Set, colors.
Forward march. Now slow down. Slow down.
Please remain standing as I ask our good friend, Father Stengel, who's been with us for so many years, to give us the invocation.
Father in heaven, the passing of nearly 7 decades, the very phrase youngest survivors adds special poignancy to this day's prayer of remembrance. Timeless, eternal God, be with us as this day we reverse the passing of time, the experience of survivors. By prayer, memory, telling, and hearing, returning to a time of youth in an awful place. They did not know that they would be survivors. They knew only that they were young, and their future held no bright promise. Their youthful challenges held no thrill for them. Their dreams were without smiles. It was when all the young Ricklesses came to the gates that these young could dare to believe that they were survivors, and their lives held promise, and their challenges would thrill, and their dreams welcomed smiles. Because they were then young, they owed Kadeshaton for those who were not. May your great name be exalted and sanctified. And we now join in faith, and together we joyfully cry and softly weep. Amen. Please be seated.
Thank you all for coming to today's observance. We have a few introductions of dignitaries that are with us to honor us on this observance. So I'm going to announce that Dr. Kent Hamilton, Superintendent of Schools, is here with us, and he'll be speaking later. We just heard the invocation from our good long-term friend, Reverend Louis Stengel, retired. We have Amy Antelis, chairperson of the Henry Rickless Committee, and a long-term Board of Education member. Cantor Eli Perlman of Temple Beit Shalom. Rabbi Benjamin Levy, the Monroe Township Jewish Center, Temple Etz Chaim. Rabbi Zach Lukovsky, who started our ceremony today with the blowing of the shofar. Monroe Township Council President Jerry Tamburo. Monroe Township Councilman Henry Hank Miller. Monroe Township Councilman Michael Leibowitz. Monroe Township Councilwoman Leslie Capel and many of her lovely children. And somebody who will always be our councilman, whether he's retired or not, Erwin Nallett. We also have with us New York State Senator Linda Greenstein. New Jersey. You weren't planning to move, were you? Sorry. Dr. Ed Thompson and his wife Dorothy from the Jewish Federation of Greater Middlesex County. And Mark Klein, a Monroe Township Board of Education member. We also have Sarah Muhammad, one of our student essay contest winners, and she'll be speaking later. And right now we have greetings from, it would have been a good friend for so many years, and has been at so many of our observances, Mayor Pucci. But as some of you know, he has a very, very bad back and has missed several occasions. So taking his place, reading the proclamation, we have our Council President, Jerry Tamburo.
Thank you, Jay. On behalf of the Mayor, I bring you both greetings and regrets. This is an event every year that he looks forward to. But as Jay said, unfortunately, he has a chronic back pain that just won't alleviate the agony that he's in. Rain like today just doesn't help that situation. He brings you greetings. I just want to say before I read the Mayor's proclamation that unfortunately events so horrific as this become lessons in a history book. Because of the work of the Rickless Foundation, the works, the lessons to the youth of today should always be current events rather than historical events. And then we should never forget, because it's always part of the current teachings that the children will learn in our school systems. With that, I would like to read the proclamation. Holocaust Days of Remembrance, April 22nd, 2012 to April 29th, 2012. Honoring the youngest survivors of Holocaust. Whereas 67 years ago, the Holocaust, the state-sponsored systemic persecution and annihilation of European Jewry by Nazi Germany and its collaborators, finally came to an end. In its wake, 6 million Jews, including 1.5 million children, were murdered. Gypsies, Poles, homosexuals, Jehovah's Witnesses, political dissidents, the physically handicapped, and the righteous Christians who tried to stop this murder were also marked for destruction. And whereas we honor the victims of the Holocaust, both who perished and those who survived, and today we recognize and honor the youngest of the survivors, those whose very survival and existence were entirely due to selfless acts of courage by others. And today, the youngest of the survivors continue to bear witness to the history of the Holocaust, so this nightmare will never be repeated in their time or their children's time. Today's keynote speaker is David Zajac, a resident of Regency of Monroe Township, who, along with his older brother Simon, were saved by their mother from the July 1942 roundup in Paris during the Nazi occupation. And whereas the history of the Holocaust requires that we, the people of Monroe Township, reflect on the moral responsibilities of both individuals and society. And whereas we, the people of Monroe Township, will actively dedicate ourselves to the principles of individual freedom in a just society. And we, the people of Monroe, must always remember the terrible events of the Holocaust and remain vigilant against hatred and persecution and tyranny. And whereas pursuant to an act of Congress, Public Law 96-388, October 7, 1980, the United States Holocaust Memorial Council designated the days of remembrance of the victims of the Holocaust to Sunday, April 22nd, 2012 through Sunday, April 29th, 2012. Now, therefore, I, Richard Pucci, the Mayor of the Township of Monroe, do hereby proclaim the week of Sunday, April 22nd, 2012 through Sunday, April 29th, 2012 as days of remembrance in memory of the victims of the Holocaust and in honor of the survivors who help us remember the history of the Holocaust so that this nightmare will never be repeated, and further proclaim that as citizens of the Township of Monroe, we will strive to overcome intolerance and indifference through education and remembrance. Signed, April 22nd, 2012, by Richard Pucci, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. I now call upon our Superintendent of Schools in Monroe Township, Dr. Kenneth Hamilton, for a few words.
Good afternoon. It is always an honor to be a part of the YomHashoah observance, and I want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the Henry Rickless Committee for extending me the invitation. I'm always excited about an opportunity to speak to members of our community, particularly on topics that are dear to my heart. The Holocaust serves as a reminder of the lives lost because in this country and in our world, issues of intolerance, ignorance, bigotry, and hatred cause many to lose their lives. They say that history has a way of repeating itself. Even within the boundaries of the United States of America, we still battle issues when people are different. As a superintendent of schools, it is my obligation to make certain that we are using events like the Holocaust to remind our children about how important it is to accept people who look different, who sound different, and who may espouse different beliefs. And more importantly, we must use this opportunity to make certain that even though we will one day approach a time in our history where there will be no survivors who will have those firsthand experiences, we cannot allow publishers of our textbooks or other educational resources to ignore the fact that the Holocaust did in fact exist, and it did happen. And if we don't use those experiences, we risk a repeat. We have to use this experience to help us shape the minds of our children so that we will be able to live in a world where we can, in fact, accept the differences that we see in our neighbors. I applaud the Henry Rickless Committee for keeping that legacy alive. And even though the events were horrific and so many lives were lost, I happen to believe that we are all born for a particular reason. We're here on this earth for a reason. And those who perish serve us as reminders of our obligation to make sure that we are cognizant of our responsibility, both morally and civically, to make certain that we are using this experience to make our world a better place. I thank you for the opportunity for being here today. I thank you for the invitation, and I applaud the Henry Rickless Committee for their work.
Thank you, Dr. Hamilton. We now have a musical selection from Debbie Frimmer and Edward Fleischer. Both are residents of the Regency development, and they are very talented people in the realm of music.
Oh, say,
Thank you. We now have the reading of one of our high school essay contest winners, and I call upon Sarah Mohammed to come up, please, and read your winning essay.
Imagine. Close your eyes and imagine. Your father is being worked to the point where his hands and legs can no longer move, so he is killed. Your mother, with warm tears streaming down her face as her baby is shot. Your brothers and sisters not being able to do work, so they are burned alive. Imagine. Sleep is impossible because you do not know whether your family is dead or alive. Your bones become fragile with the back-breaking labor and scarce amount of food. You share a closet-sized room with 50 other people. The truth is, we can try to imagine these pure horrors in our mind, but we will never truly understand just how appalling these events actually were. To us, this seems like a bad nightmare. To the people of the Holocaust, this was sadly a reality. There are countless amount of reasons why we should study the Holocaust. There is a famous quote, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." I believe that this quote is extremely fitting to describe why we should learn about these tragedies. If we are not educated and do not learn from our mistakes, nothing will prevent another genocide from happening. Some people believe that this day and age, nothing as large as the Holocaust can happen. However, ethnic cleansing is still happening. It may seem as though the United States is much too liberal and free and will not allow something like this to happen. But the Holocaust did not start out large. One idea of hatred escalated, and this idea killed over 1 million people. History does indeed repeat itself, and becoming educated about events such as the Holocaust is the only defense we have against to stop it. Think about your life at home. The majority of homes unknowingly make comments that are derogatory to a certain group of people based on their religion, race, nationality, and more. Why do we do this? Why do we judge? Why do we hurt other people for our own laughter? It may seem like nothing, words can't hurt people, but next time you go to make a comment like this, realize that words do indeed hurt people, and words are what triggered the Holocaust. Every human is born equal. No matter what they look like or where they come from, we are all equal. No one is better than anyone else, because when it comes down to it, we all started out the same. It may seem like no big deal, but in reality it is. Although there are several reasons to study this event, I feel that one of the main reasons is to feel the pain and have sympathy for those who actually went through it and experienced it first account. Many of the survivors lost their entire families and loved ones to the brutality. I would like to quote Anne Frank, a young girl who faced the horror. "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I find this absolutely breathtaking for such a young soul to have said this after losing everything she ever loved to the murderers. We must feel their pain and struggles and appreciate everything we have, because we may not know when it will be taken from us. It may be heartbreaking to remember, but we must never forget the Holocaust."
Dr. Hamilton. It's just wonderful, and you can be so proud of our students. Thank you again, Sarah. For our memorial lighting ceremony, I call upon Nina Wolf, Harold Lichtenstein, Evelyn Goldstein, Arlene Lazar, Rochelle Grossman, and Lori Gang.
And the world reacted with stone-faced silence and feigned ignorance. There would be no help. There would be no salvation. There would be no rescue. Only death. 6 million deaths. 6 million deaths. 6 million murders. 1.5 million children. All Jews must die. All Jews must die because they are Jews. All Jews must die because they are Jews. All Jews must die. 6 candles. 6 candles for 6 million. 6 candles for 6 million souls. 6 million lights to illuminate the conspiratorial silence and the blighted darkness. 6 candles to tell the world that we have not, nor will we ever forget. 6 candles to show the world that we did not all die, that we did not all perish, that we live to remember and honor those that did. 6 candles for 6 million tears. Yes, 6 million tears.
The youngest Holocaust survivors. We were old before we were young. We had mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers. We had families that we loved and they loved us. Some of us even had special loves, and together we made dreams for the future. We never knew sunshine, or orange, or red, or yellow, or green. Our world was gray, dark gray, cold gray, with a constant fear of internment, torture, and death. Harold Starker, age 6, Belgorod, Poland. Harold's town was burned by the Germans, and his family forced into hiding. Raya Lori, an infant carried in a pillowcase through Siberia, was left behind at a rest stop and retrieved by her fleeing family. Paul Beller, age 7, Vienna, Austria. His family was broken apart, and Paul was one of 50 children chosen to come to the United States. Saul Lurie was 11 years old in Kovno, Lithuania. Saul survived the horrors of Auschwitz, and on the 60th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, he re-entered the death camp, but this time with a determined step and head held high, the flag of Israel draped across his shoulders. Karl Lusbader, 15 years old, Piwnicze, Poland. His family was arrested and Karl was sent to the described violence and glass windows being smashed as a sea of blood and glass. Judith Sherman was 13 years old in Korima, Czechoslovakia. Her parents and younger brother, aged 9, were killed. A younger sister became a hidden child. Judith was liberated on a death march from Ravensbrück and reunited with her sister after liberation. In addition to lecturing about the Holocaust, Judith has authored a book, Say the Name. Helene Bird was 7 years old in Rozhan, Poland. The family was exiled to Siberia by the Soviets and fought hunger and sub-zero weather conditions to survive. Jack Zykert was 15 years old in Lodz, Poland. Jack's family perished in the camps, and Jack was forced into slave labor. On occasion, when available, he ate grass to survive. The survivors' prayer and pledge to their children and to the children of the world is that they will know sunlight and bright colors, that they will know joy and laughter, that they will play in the sun, and that they will never know only the color gray, cold gray of the Holocaust, and that they will be young before they become old.
We call upon Edith Reich, a survivor of Theresienstadt, to light our first candle to remember the victims of Theresienstadt, Buchenwald, and Treblinka.
Irene Tramontano and her daughter, Dana Panson, along with Liz Rothman and her daughter, Nadine Lesnar, light our first candle. Irene and Dana are honoring Irene's parents, Luma Manischewitz Moses and Lee Moses, while Liz and Nadine honor Liz's father, William Offenberg.
Moshe Gimlin and daughter Judy Faraday are called to the next candle. Moshe is a survivor of Plaszow and Eggenfelden. They will light our second candle for the victims of Belzec, Plaszow, and Lodz.
Esther and Steve Schwartz, together with Jean Taubman, light the second candle. Esther and Steve light in memory of Steve's parents, Serena and Herman Schwartz, Esther's father, Jacob Kalina, and in honor of Esther's mother, Paula Kalina. Jean is honoring her parents, Terry Auslander Weiss and Sam Weiss.
We call upon Shirley and Reuben Zeidlow, both survivors of the Warsaw Ghetto and Auschwitz, to light the third candle in honor of the victims of Dachau, Ebensee, and the Warsaw Ghetto.
Harold and Jerry Starker, along with Dot and Frank Cherif, are called to light the third candle. Harold and Jerry are lighting for Harold's parents, Misha and Esther Starker, while Dot and Frank honor Dot's parents, Jenny and Irving Holt.
Saul Lurie of Kovno, Lithuania, and rivalry are survivors of Dachau, Auschwitz, Buchenwald, and slave labor in Siberia. Together, they light the fourth candle to remember the victims of Auschwitz, Gross-Rosen, the Vilna Ghetto, Kovno, and Ponar.
Linda and Marty Kamens, along with Gina and Howard Lieferman, light our fourth candle. Gina and Howard light in honor of her parents, Lillian and Morris Faust, while Linda and Marty honor her parents, Walter and Hetty Lowenbull Rohr.
Joe Bonder and Howard Rosenstein, survivors of Kaiserwald and Stuttgart, light the fifth candle in memory of the victims of Babi Yar, Ravensbrück, and Birkenau.
And her husband Richard Frank, and Etta Levine, along with her mother Judith Weinman, called to light the fifth candle. Aggie and Sylvia honor Aggie's parents, Mahaly Malnasi and Regina Salzer Malnasi, and Etta and Judith honor Abraham Weinman.
Who survived Plaschow and Mauthausen, lights the sixth candle for the victims of Rappa, Bergen-Belsen, and Mauthausen.
Michelle Grossman, Morris Adler, and Toby and Leonard Rudolph share in lighting the sixth candle. Michelle lights in memory of her parents, Chaim Zelowinski and Marcia Rothenberg Zelowinski. Morris lights for his parents, Goldie and Chaim Adler, while Toby and Leonard honor Toby's parents, Joseph and Sally Suss.
It is our tradition to light one more candle. This seventh candle of honor is to remember those that perished in unnamed camps and unmarked graves, in pogroms, in suicide bombings, and to honor the righteous Gentiles that would not lend acquiescence to the systematic murder of the Jewish people. This candle has been given to Jack and Lee Zeikert. Jack is a survivor of Dachau and Auschwitz, while Lee survived the Lodz Ghetto and slave labor in 2 ammunition factories in Poland. For this candle, we proudly call upon Jack Zeikert, accompanied by his 2 sons, Robert and Harry.